Kansas City Police Department that put out this statement. You can still hear the sirens coming in, even as Terry was able to get this information from Kansas City Police Department that put out this statement. Kansas City Police Department that put out this statement. You can still hear the sirens coming in, even as Terry was able to get this information from Kansas City Police Department that put out this statement. Kansas City Police Department.
Jeez, that was confusing.
There have been 2 people detained. We're now seeing a caravan of buses right now. Not sure where the Kansas City Chiefs are, where the team is, the players. Do you have any idea? And can you see this caravan going across the bridge right now?
I want to cover this because it's happening in a constitutional carry state just to the north of me in Missouri.
It's behind me, and I can sort of point you in that direction over there. It was in that general area that the crowd sort of...
This just went down about an hour ago.
That the crowd started to run when apparently those gunshots erupted. To give you an idea, this was packed with families, children, men, women, all kinds of people who have been here all day. So, of course, you can imagine the kind of panic that begins when you hear gunfire and when you see crowds beginning to run. The people in the front start to run. Of course, the people in the back start to run. And that creates a massive movement of a lot of people at once. And that's what we saw happen here, Kira. It's unclear to us at this point just how active the situation is. And it seems from what Terry read there from the police department and what we're seeing from the Kansas City Police Department on Twitter, they're still trying to figure out what exactly happened at this point. There appears, according to the Kansas City Police Department, to be some shooting victims and at least 2 people in custody at this point. If I move out of the way here, you might be able to see in that direction over there, there's an ambulance with its lights down below there. There are a number of police officers sort of around the perimeter and watching.
Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large crowds. One of the most dangerous places you can be is in a large crowd of people, because when something like this happens, you're basically a sitting duck. It's you against 1,000 other people who are going to act irrationally.
To the area at the time of this shooting remains unclear to us, but they were no longer on stage when this erupted. They were gone, but the crowd was still here, and that's how we noticed what was going on when we saw that chaos and we saw those people running there, Kira and Terry. Of course, this is sort of a sad note after what was a very happy day for a lot of people here in Kansas City. They got up early. They came out to support their team. People were here for hours. This first time they have back-to-back Super Bowl championships. So people were excited and in a good mood, and this certainly puts a negative, sad note on all of this, Kira and Terry.
Of course, this is an all-American event, right? A Super Bowl parade that now has been struck by some kind of gun violence. As Alex just said, after it concluded,
there goes the euphemisms, gun violence.
Was over, Alex, when this shooting seems to have occurred?
Thanks for being here, guys.
Correct, Terry. The event was over. The team had sort of cleared the stage. There were a few people who were still cleaning up and kind of picking up things off the stage, and the crowd had already began to disperse. That's when we heard the sort of commotion, the chaos, people running, and then later found out that there were gunshots just to the west side near the parking garage of Union Station right here. This whole event happening right outside of Union Station. Guys?
So just to recap what we know, Kansas City Police, they've been pretty good about putting things out on Twitter, now known as X, of course. They first did confirm that shots were fired there around the Union Station area. They were asking everybody to leave. Then they followed up saying that they were working to clear the area of Union Station, including everybody that was inside the building as well. They said they were still trying to determine how many people had been shot. So police definitely have, at least at this moment when they put the tweet out, that they were feeling pretty confident there were numerous victims.
Several is the word
several
they
victims
used in their press release.
All right, several people that were shot. And then we got some information from our affiliates The News Chopper 9, we've been taking various footage from the helicopter, actually zeroed in on emergency crews there in the area that were working on at least 2 people. That's what the affiliate there, Terry, was confirming. We saw one individual being worked on, but one of the affiliates saying that they actually saw rescue crews work.
I'm going to mute this while they're talking. I want to cover this because Fake Stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. They always cover it and they put a spin on it. So they cease being news people. They cease being journalists and start being basically hacktivists or prostitute activists, where they start saying, well, yeah, this is an open carry state and this probably never would have happened if guns weren't so readily available. And there is another thing that happened also in Florida, and we'll go over some of that today too. Let me just go back to this.
Higher up on the ground. I mean, they're used to having big events like this, and security is always put in place.
Super Bowls, they've done this a few times.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, it leaves the opportunity for things like this to happen too.
Darth Maul says, reminds me of Station nightclub fire that occurred on the evening of February 20th, 2003. Huge crowds and no one thought of exit plans.
And our consultant on many issues on these kinds of incidents, Brad Garrett, formerly an official with the FBI, now our ABC News consultant on many law enforcement issues. Brad, I just want you to train your sensibility on what we know so far.
Stay with me, because there's a lot of people, and you have this all the time when an incident happens like this, but there are a lot of people saying that there are a lot of things happening. And there was this Ohio sheriff, and I covered him from Butler County, Ohio, talking about he just got out of a briefing with Christopher Wray, who's the director of the FBI, saying, hey, some bad things are about to go down and you got to prepare. Always be prepared. Always make sure that you have plenty of personal protection devices laying around the house. You got plenty of freedom seeds. You got plenty of food, plenty of water, just in case something happens, at least for a couple days, if not 6 months to 3 years, if you can. But you always want to be prepared. Don't fear. Don't operate on a fear base, but definitely be motivated to do those things that are going to cause you to be prepared for things that may happen in the future. If they don't happen, that's fine, but it's better to have it and not need it, i.e. food, freedom seeds, personal protection devices, alarm systems, training under your belt. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, because you don't want to be caught without food if, things start going down. And if you have food and you have water and you have all these supplies, make sure you don't let people in your general vicinity know that you have them, because when the S hits the fan, they're coming to your house. Now you got a whole slew of different problems. Not only did you have to just go through an earthquake or a hurricane or whatever, now people know that you got a food stash and they're pretty hungry and they'll do anything to get your food, including wipe you off the map. So be prepared. Don't fear, but be prepared.
We reported that, but they are now saying that several people were struck within that gunfire. Still looking to see if they have any more information with regard to who fired those guns, what led to this. But apparently Kansas City Fire Department is confirming that the shooting did happen, and they're still calling it a fluid situation.
Oh, wow. Okay, there you go. James L. Jesus says, I was there at the parade and rally and heard the shots. Okay, so if you were there when all this stuff happened, James L. Jesus said he was there. Weigh in the comment section. Let's get some discussion going here. And maybe I'll open the phone lines up and you guys can call in, but maybe we'll just limit it to people who were actually there. Put a 1 in the room if you were there when all this stuff went down, and maybe you be interested in telling us what you saw.
Have a sense, it seems, where the gunshots happened, but this is a vast event, huge scene. Figuring out what happened, and securing it, protecting the people who are first getting them out of the way, and figuring out that, in fact, they have the scene secured. That could take a while, yeah?
Oh, there's no doubt it could take a while. I mean, there's...
SS Contracting says he was there and it was crazy.
Immediately, review of cameras and witnesses, and of course...
I see people saying, talking about acorns and something that happened in Florida. What are we talking about here? RTIC Blue says you can't barely hear the acorns. The cop just freaks out. What are we talking about here?
It sort of gives you the flavor of what you might have, versus somebody who walks up behind a group or walks into a crowd and just starts shooting anyone that's near them. that's probably a different type of event or person. But the combination of those, because witnesses can be extremely helpful. I get that people can be unreliable as to what they tell you at a scene, but I'll tell you dozens of scenes where I have been where there are a lot of people, pieces of information end up being accurate. If you can link it to the video and you can link it to...
I have no doubt this is going to be a long rifle, more than likely the scary black AR-15 assault-style rifle that should only be on the battlefields of war, not in the cities of the United States. I'm sure that's going to be it.
Is there something more to it than that?
Going to keep following it for sure. If you're just tuning in, once again, you're looking at live pictures there from Kansas City, where the parade was taking place. Thousands of people flooding the streets to celebrate their Super Bowl champs. Patrick Mahomes was seen holding the Super Bowl trophy. Members of the team there.
Oh yeah, I just did that video. I just did a video. I'm waiting for it to be released by YouTube. Were you talking about that thing that happened over there in
station there? Two people
in God, what was the state? I just got finished with it. What was the state there? The guy's name was Maurice Jackson or something like that. Marquise Jackson. And the cop was Hernandez. And Hernandez said he heard a shot. I played it back so many times. I could hear it. There was like a distant, almost like a boom. It just happened real quick, like a distant rumble. What are they doing? Throwing a commercial in here? It was like a distant rumble. They're throwing a commercial in this. And I mean, talking about really distant. And then he claimed that there were shots fired and he claimed that he was hit. And then the sergeant, Beth Roberts, just started mag dumping on the back of the patrol cruiser where Maurice Jackson was in the back with his handcuffs behind his back. And they're just they're both mag dumping on this patrol cruiser. Is that the one you're talking about? Was that Florida? Oh, that's right. It was Florida. It was, let's see, I got it right here. Oh, yeah, Okaloosa County. What a short memory I have. He was allowed to resign, no accountability. Yeah, I covered it. It looks like you could insert that little piece where he tripped and he did that tumble and then he went in the street and started magged up and on the car. You could actually insert that in the movie Police Academy and people would think it was meant to be, that the script was baked into that. Cop killed his own shadow.
All morning up until the very end of this rally. The rally concluded, the players left the stage, and shortly after that, we noticed chaos on the field here where the crowd had gathered. You might be able to see all that green down there, that field. Well, that was, as you've seen in other images, covered with thousands of people that had gathered here all day.
Let's see NBC's coverage of this. Nothing but crap. That's what NBC stands for.
I'm sure you're going to hug him a little bit tighter tonight, right?
Every night.
And for you, I mean, what was that like, not seeing anyone, Jaden or Chrissy here? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Scared. Thank God there was somebody that helped me.
I'm sorry. This is no personal offense to anybody, but when I see NFL fans or especially men wearing another man's jersey, it's something inside me. It causes me to chuckle. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I mean, I was super into the NFL when I was a kid. And then when I became an adult and had a family, I'm like, how do people even have time for this? Like when you've seen one game, you've pretty much seen them all. And I have no interest in watching guys with tights chase a ball.
Get to safety with my vision. I am legally blind, but a young man helped me, and then I know
housing while migrants find work in homes.
Wait, let's see. This is live, but I'm going to back it up a little bit.
And since 2020, a December
was wrapping up, and you just think about.
And Miss Tammy Reed have been escorted away from Union Station. So we're starting to get some notifications there. We're going to send it to Gian Kim, who we have there on
it almost the scene. Yeah, I'm going to pause this. It almost taps into the tribal mentality that we pretty much all have. It's kind of the WWE thing. When I was a kid, also another thing that I used to do is I would attend local WWF, they called it, wrestling events, and just to watch people get so into something that is so fake. Now, am I saying that they're not athletic when they jump from the top rope and jump 10 feet onto some other dude? No, I'm not saying they're not athletic, but it's all choreographed. There are no winners. There are no losers. They both walk away. They go behind the curtain, they have a beer, and they split the loot, man. They made a whole bunch of money off of people's ignorance. That's the way I look at the NFL. Plus, when you have the NFL and the WWE press pushing the what am I going to say on a live stream? Convid 1984 by George Orwell thing, you know, with that deal that they were trying to sell everybody, you know, no respect at all. And then they push all these mainstream fake stream narratives, and you would struggle to find a corporation that has a larger propaganda influence in peddling the military industrial complex than the NFL. They are you could literally call the NFL the propaganda arm for the military industrial complex, just like you could rightly call fake stream media that. If I hurt anybody's feelings by saying that, maybe, I don't know, maybe do a little soul searching. I don't know what to tell you. I know that, oh yeah, what Shannon Steele says, we won. No, they won, you watched. I know they identify themselves with the team. They don't personally know anybody on the team, but all of a sudden it becomes we. San Francisco 49ers, we. For me, as a kid, it was Pittsburgh Steelers and Terry Bradshaw and the terrible towel. And, you know, you really get into that kind of stuff. I can understand kids getting into it, but man, when you enter adulthood, it's just funny to me. It's just funny. I'm not saying anybody's done wrong by doing that. It's just funny.
On air, live, for us when all of this happened, and that's our colleagues, Caitlin Canute and Kevin Holmes.
And Caitlin and Kevin, you guys had to duck for cover.
Hey guys, a couple things. We did. I mean, in my 20 plus years in this business, I've never had to take cover so quickly because of an emergency, because of shots fired, and that's just what we did. Literally, with this desk we're standing behind as a barrier, we hit the ground and we kind of just.
You know what it makes me wonder? It makes me wonder if during the parade they disarmed people. Like, Missouri is a constitutional carry state. In other words, you don't need a permit to carry a firearm, and you can have a long rifle slung to your back just like you can here in Oklahoma. So I wonder if, you know, if there were any militia people around just kind of walking and patrolling the streets. That would have been interesting to see. Now, that would have become a dangerous situation for the militia when law enforcement arrived, because then they would think the militia were the ones that initiated the initial shots.
The bank, just to name a few, and Crown Center. About 5 minutes ago, we saw.
I want to show you something. I don't know if we can pan this way, Al, if you can show right here in real time, and if you want to take this camera, guys. We saw a bunch of law enforcement officers, state troopers, KCPD running around the rear of the building over to the side, and we saw them send some people who were outside who had maybe left back into the building. So Kevin has been connecting with sources. We don't have anything confirmed yet, so we're not going to share that till we have it confirmed, but we do believe that there was definitely some activity around the back of the building, because we saw a rush.
Several officers, guns drawn, even as they made their way to the rear, kind of where parking is in the back of Union Station. That kind of lets out into the post office. For those of you familiar with that area, that's where we saw a flurry of activity. Several police officers make their way there with their guns drawn. So it's unclear exactly what's taking place, but we are on the phone. We are texting with sources, trying to gather information, and once we have things confirmed, we'll make sure we bring that to the air, bring it to you on air.
And speaking of sources, Kevin, you spoke with a source who did tell us, gave us some more clarification that as of right now, and this is coming from a reputable source, that 1 dead, 9 injured. 1 person dead, 9 injured. That's coming from a very reputable law enforcement source.
Yeah, and we're still trying to find more. This is, of course, a fluid situation, so there are several moving parts to this. That number could go up in terms of injuries. We certainly hope and pray it doesn't, but still a lot of activity here, a lot of police cars. And from where we're standing, we're actually kind of within a crime scene. There's crime scene tape that surrounds every place we are here at Union Station as police secure the perimeter and try to figure out what's happening, what's now an active crime scene. And I don't think we can stress it enough how you can see people's personal belongings still on the lawn here at Union Station.
I told Kevin we've got a baby stroller right there, and then I looked over the side and there's some children's chairs right there. You heard our reporters talking about the families who are now on the perimeter of this, but scared kids, I can't even imagine.
Kansas City, hug your loved ones, especially tight tonight, and tell them that you love them. We're going to go out to KSHB 41 reporter Megan Abundis, who was along the route gathering information for us as well. Megan, what are you learning?
We are outside University Health, Truman Medical Center here, just minutes from the parade. People are still trying to exit from the parade. This group that you see standing here is waiting for news. Their family members are getting treated in there. We've seen a number of ambulances drop off people in stretchers, all wearing Chiefs jerseys or Chiefs shirts. This crowd right here has been hugging each other, talking to each other. I told you earlier that I spoke with a mother who said
Aaron Wood says, where's Taylor Swift when you need her?
She wanted to see her and was so distraught. We saw a person fall to their knees here at
What if people like Taylor Swift and celebrities, whether it's a celebrity in sports or a music celebrity or a movie celebrity, got up there and said, you know what we need? We need more people who are trained and armed, and then these things will go away. Because if you know that 50% of that crowd is armed, it's likely that you'll go to a different place that gives you a better working environment. I have no doubt. I wonder what I wonder what the nationality of the people that they have not released their identities is, because it seems to me when it happens and it's this color of skin that did it, for mainstream media is on it. They're forthcoming. They got a picture up already. You know, not minutes after it happened. We know who this was. We know where he lives. We know where his mom is. And his mom had a safe, and the safe was unlocked, and these guns were laying around. It's like, but if it's not this color right here, well, they kind of obscure and they hide the fact, and then they drop the story as soon as possible. That's another thing. If it's the right color, well, they continue beating that drum and beating that drum and beating that drum. But when it's the wrong color, well, they just kind of drop that story and it goes into the round file very, very quickly.
You are reunited with your loved ones, should that be the case. But as of right now, this is the only reunification site left.
And that's somewhat reassuring for us being here right in front of here. I can't stress enough what a front row view we had to that happening in real time. Seeing the crowd go from joyful to suddenly terror to chaos and panic. And
I want to see maps. I want to see where it actually happened. Where did the shots come from?
Elise Schoenig. She's out there along somewhere out here, and I'm not even sure where you are, Elise, but if you could tell us, are people where you are they okay? Are they trying to get away? What's happening there?
Yeah, we're here on Pershing and Grand, which is the area that police have started to actually block off. You can even see there's more EMS.
Everybody's got Kansas City apparel.
Toward
Kansas City Chiefs apparel.
More police cars driving.
It's almost like it's an advertisement for the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL right here. Like there's a sea of red
blocking this whole area off. We definitely have an all hands on deck situation here, as understandable. Just hearing my colleagues who are at various spots taking part in this coverage today and who are watching a lot of really hard things unfold in front of their eyes. I'm in disbelief. It's shocking. When we first.
Just a real quick couple shout outs from people who are members. Thanks, Steve. Flying Grandpa's a member. Sir Marty Pants. Rip Curl Readiness is here. Who else we got? Jersey Bob is a member. If you want to become a member, it's real easy to do. It helps support the channel. Shanta Young Malot. Hope I didn't slaughter your name too bad. Montana Kid is here. Oh, that's as far as it lets me scroll up. Thank you guys for being a member. We're gonna cover this. We're gonna cover what the sheriff said in Ohio, and then we're going to go to what happened in Florida today, just a couple hours ago, or an hour and a half ago.
Right now, as we've mentioned, we are surrounded by yellow crime scene tape in what was just an hour ago a celebration of the back-to-back world champions. So this is really taking a somber note, and it's still a very fluid situation here.
And so many law enforcement officers all around the area, EMS crews who are standing by, and I cannot tell you how quickly they jumped into action. It was, you just tell them, thank you, thanks for being here. You make me feel a little bit safer, I mean, they jumped into it, they ran toward danger, and that's what they do, and we appreciate them.
We certainly do, and right now they're gathering. In fact, I see several of my friends on the police force right now just trying to secure the perimeter and trying to figure out what the next plan of action is here at Union Station, where celebration has really taken a turn for the worse.
And we know deadly. It has turned deadly. Again, yes. 1 dead, 3 in critical condition, 5 serious. We don't know their ages. We don't know the extent of the injuries of those who were injured. Jeon Kim has been, after making sure that the threat was over immediately here where we were hunkered down, she jumped up to do her job, and she went out to go talk to people and see what she could learn. Jeon, we're going to toss things back to you.
Hey guys, we are still at Pershing and Grand, and I think this is where most of the people are being pushed out to. You see people lingering around trying to find rides home. We see, hello?
Keep talking, Gian, come on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, there's some connectivity issues out here as well. I'm just on my iPhone.
Yeah, people make a big deal out of if this was a real event or if this was a staged event. I'm not really there. I'm like, okay, what is the fallout of this? How are they going to use this? And we know how they always use it. And that's why I like to do live streams while they're doing live streams, because they've already used the euphemism gun violence. We all know that there's no such thing as inanimate object violence. It's an individual who decided to do bad things to other individuals, and they used a weapon to do it. You could use a bat, you could use a meat cleaver, you could use a crowbar, or you could use a gun. And he chose to use a gun. And it is ridiculous, it is nonsense, and it is downright evil to criminalize other people who happen to possess the firearm that this person happened to use, because that's what happens. So when you criminalize this inanimate object, or actually when you vilify the inanimate object and you criminalize the people, the innocent people, the many innocent people who possess this object, you've actually committed a crime saying we're going to try to eliminate crime. That's just such a brain dead outlook on life. You don't do that with vehicles and drunk drivers. You don't do that with aircraft. You don't do that with any other thing, but you're going to do that with a firearm. Why? What is the agenda? We know what the agenda is. All you have to do is look in history. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Brandon Mitchell has been a member for 8 months. I appreciate that, Brandon. Sports are rigged, he says. This happens right before election. Yeah, well, it probably happens all the time, but they choose to hide, because there's 330 million people supposedly in the United States. So it probably happens all the time. And they probably just choose to highlight it before an election. Now, this right here is going to have more press coverage because this deals with a Super Bowl team. And this deals with the Super Bowl parade, and it makes for a good story because in the midst of celebration, tragedy strikes. So, it captures people's attention, it gets clicks and views, and of course there's advertising revenue to be generated from that, of course, because people will gravitate toward that, and they're like, oh my God, did you hear what happened in Missouri? That's kind of what we're doing. Nothing wrong with that. The question is, how are they going to twist this into saying, hey, we need to take away more of your rights because of what this lunatic did? Never mind that this guy might be on some big pharma chemicals that need to be brought into question as well. So if you're going to vilify inanimate objects, if you're in the mood to do that, then hey, why don't we look at what was in his medicine cabinet and what he had access to, not just the firearm that he used.
It was supposed to be the fun moments and the moments we all cheered about, and instead something much, much different. This day has ended in a way that none of us could have anticipated, or certainly would have hoped it never would.
Yeah, because how many shootings happened in Chicago last night, or Baltimore, or St. Louis, or San Francisco, or San Diego last night? How many happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, or in Washington, D.C.? But they're going to pick this one right here because they have high-profile players that were linked to this, and they could have got hurt, and everybody was just there cheering on their team, and all of a sudden, oops.
It's okay, but it definitely was a scary situation when you see cops running from different directions, people jumping barricades. And joining me right now is Monty. You were actually there on by the stage, and you were collecting.
I just have to laugh wearing a man's number.
Most finest jumped the barricades and they were telling everybody to move, move, move. And they went inside the building, and probably 1 to 2 minutes later, everyone started running out of the building, and you could hear people yelling, active shooter, active shooter. At that point, we were picking up confetti on the other side because I kind of followed the police over the edge and picked up confetti with another guy, and they told us to hit the ground, and that was pretty much it. Didn't really hear any gunshots. I was on the east entrance, so, but there were plenty of people running out of the building, so.
And you're right now currently waiting to get your car because it's at Union Station right now. Have you heard any updates?
Okay, somebody called me a gatekeeper. You're sounding like a gatekeeper, just saying. Okay, how am I sounding like a gatekeeper, and what am I gatekeeping? Just curious. If I'm a gatekeeper, what am I gatekeeping?
They're handling it. I mean, it's just one of those things we got to live with. It's a new world, so.
Has it sunk in at all that this happened? It was such a high. I was interviewing Chiefs fans talking about Valentine's Day to end like this. Has it sunk in at all?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. You know, we can't live in fear. Fear is a false exaggeration appearing real. And these people are here to handle that, and I think they did a good job today. And, I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation. You got some people that were hurt, maybe one fatally, but they're doing a good job, so.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. We appreciate it. All right, guys, there you guys have it. Again, they're still working on clearing out the entire scene. There you can see.
Yeah, Q-Ban, I just finished an Okaloosa County shooting video, and it should upload hopefully tomorrow because, you know, it's still demonetized by YouTube. And I came at it from another angle from what I've seen. So I only saw the police activity video, though.
Take a breather, by all means, make sure you do so. And as Daniela, to her point, there are still several people who are kind of in limbo because they're waiting.
Dismissing the possibility. Oh, I didn't say it wasn't a PSYOP. PSYOPs can be real and they can be fake. I did not say that this isn't a PSYOP. Did not say that. I don't know if the person who initiated this is CIA or FBI or some kind of plant. I don't know. I don't know if it was organic. I don't know how I'm going to be able to prove that. I don't know if, you know, everything happened the way they said it happened, or it happened differently, or how many people got injured or whatever. I did not say that it's not a PSYOP, though. It's happening. It's being covered by mainstream media. So the chances that it is a PSYOP are highly likely. Remember, a PSYOP is a psychological operation. They're trying to get into your mind and unlock things for a certain purpose. And what is the purpose that mainstream media always, without fail, what agenda are they trying to push when they enter psychologically into the minds of the unthinking masses who just turn their minds off and watch the TV? What are they trying to do? They're trying to gear you toward an agenda. And what is that agenda? View people who want guns as the enemy and beg your political overlords to create laws that make your enemies criminals in the eyes of the state. That is typically what's happened. Why? Because it is beneficial for politicians and for leaders all around the country for you to be disarmed. So I have no doubt and would never say, oh, this isn't a PSYOP. I just don't know if it was real. I don't know if it was infiltrated by agents. I don't know if there was, you know, Hollywood BLOOD involved. I just don't know. But with mainstream, fake stream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird media on the case, what do you think that I think about that? So for somebody to assert that I hinted that this might not be a psychological operation, let me just show you something. This term PSYOP is not coined by conspiracy theorists. Okay, this is GoArmy.com. This is www.goarmy.com. Let me just show you. This is the Army's website. And what are they looking for? They are looking for psychological operations unit. And what do these soldiers do? These soldiers are known for their communication expertise. So they're experts in communication. What are they trying to communicate? They're using unconventional tactics you might not be aware of, that involve special high-tech equipment and high-tech training to get you to believe something that isn't true so that they can further their objectives. It says to persuade and influence foreign allies and you and enemies in support of U.S. Army objectives. So they're trying to bring down mental barriers so that they can insert some kind of agenda and make you believe the agenda so that you can become basically putty in their hands. So it's no secret. You can do a Google search and read all about psychological operations. The government's involved in it. The military industrial complex is involved in it. And they do that because it works. In some sense, Edward Bernays, back in the 1920s and 30s, was hired by the government to engage in psychological operations practices when he became a social engineer. So I don't know, take that for what it's worth.
Into tragedy. At least 10 people shot at the end of the victory parade for the Kansas City Chiefs. From local authorities, we understand that one of those people has died, 5 people are in serious condition, 3 in critical, and 1 with non-life-threatening injuries. I want to go right to NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirch. He's joining us from on the ground in Kansas City. Jesse,
on the ground.
What'd you see?
Come on, Jesse, what do you got?
Yeah, Gabe, so we were here for the aftermath at that point of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl celebration. And what we noticed after the rally had wrapped up, just minutes after that wrapped up, people as they were dispersing, thousands of people dispersing from this area, we saw a group over here rushing away. And at the same time, we saw what appeared to be police officers rushing into the area. And while that was going on, we at one point eventually saw someone being wheeled.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you, Fiery. Not mad at you at all.
Last several minutes, we saw someone appearing to be ushered out of the area and put in a vehicle by police. We're going to leave the camera over there because that is the hive of activity right now. Just want to make sure we don't miss anything from our camera position. But I
wouldn't want to wear a red jersey because I wouldn't want to be like everybody else unless you're doing it for a specific purpose and it's like, oh, I got to wear a red jersey to blend in or something and you have some kind of objective. But my goodness, man, the conformity.
When you have a celebration like this, but a couple extra factors. We are looking at temperatures around 60 degrees. That is quite warm, right, for February. So that gives people an incentive.
Polyglock says the irony, quote, no violence on the goal line at Super Bowl. Really?
Her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, on the Chiefs. And there were questions about if she would be here. So there's the potential for Taylor Swift fans who aren't Chiefs fans, per se, to also be at this event. And so those had officials expecting the possibility of larger crowds than they saw last year when they had a championship parade. In this area, we had thousands of people. The rally had wrapped up, so people had started moving away. But we're talking about twice the population.
That's an interesting time to like do your evil deed when the parade is wrapping up. You would think you would want it in full swing at the peak.
Just get from A to B quickly in that kind of scenario. And even well after this incident unfolded and after we saw authorities rushing in and after the sirens started, we continued to see people milling about, including with children, and we saw people trying to walk away from the area. And they were walking, Gabe. Cell reception has been an issue out here, so perhaps they didn't get any alerts at that point. We did not hear gunshots from where we were, so perhaps they just did not realize what was going on. And again, even if they were trying to rush out of here, I can't imagine how fast they could have actually...
No, I know, Aaron. Of course, there are going to be a lot of red outfits. It's a cheap... I get it. I'm just saying the conformity is crazy. It's crazy. The ease with which people gravitate toward the tribal mentality and take personal ownership of a team they have nothing to do with. As a matter of fact, that team is parasitically living off these people because they're paying for the jerseys is just, I don't know. It seems to me it's really telling. It's really telling.
That this wound up being a deadly incident. And as you mentioned, there are multiple people who were injured as well. Because of the nature of this event, you have celebrity sports athletes here. You have athletes here. You have thousands upon thousands.
I'm going to mute this, and then we're going to go over to this thing that happened at Garden Mills in West Palm Beach, Florida, with a heavy police presence.
This is wild.
Look at that gun, man.
I know, right? Cool shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Hi, Kelly. My car's parked on the sidewalk over there. I need to go get my truck before I do it.
You're like, what's going on here?
I think of the armed fisherman, walking around with his long rifle going to and from fishing holes, and they're always harassing him. Nobody's going to harass these guys because they're special. They're government agents. They can walk around with long rifles without going camping, hunting, or fishing, but you can't.
This is wild.
Look at that gun, man.
I know, right? Cool shit.
No name. I disconnected from that. I didn't watch any of that stuff, and I'm not going to.
Yeah. I don't know. Hi, Kelly.
Oh, okay. So what happened in Garden Mall in Palm Beach? According to this report from WPTV, it says, they got some actual coverage here. The Garden Mall in Palm Beach Gardens was locked down on Wednesday amid reports of gunshots fired. City official says, quote, "We can confirm that first responders are currently on the scene and investigating this incident. The mall is on lockdown. No further information is available at this time." This makes me think of, what's that kid's name? Isaiah. Actually, I don't think you pronounce it Isaiah. It was the Greenwood Mall shooting. Greenwood Mall. What happened here? Greenwood Mall. I hate that I forgot this kid's name. It was Greenwood Mall in Indiana. What happened? What happened to my... Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, here we go. WRTV reported on it. And it was reported on by some other outlets, but it was dropped very, very quickly because the hero was the wrong color, of course. Armed civilian who stopped Greenwood Mall shooter named Citizen of the Year. The city of Greenwood took time this week to honor the man responsible for stopping the gunman inside the Greenwood Park Mall in July. Greenwood Mayor Mark Myers chose Elisha Dickin as the 2022 recipient of Citizen of the Year for the award. Says on July 17th started off to be another beautiful day in Greenwood. Unfortunately, it became one of the darkest days in our history. A lone gunman entered the food court in the Greenwood Park Mall. And put yourself in this guy's shoes. Put yourself in the shoes of anybody who's in the food court in the mall, because we've probably all, or a large percentage of us, have been in a mall in a food court before. And think about all the people just milling around. You got moms and dads, you got kids, you got people enjoying themselves, just shopping, maybe sipping on coffee or tea or whatever. And all of a sudden, some whack job, probably on Big Pharma Industrial Complex chemicals, just starts open firing. Well, this is why you need to make sure that you yourself are prepared, that you're ready, that you know your firearm, that you have a personal protection device, and you got plenty of freedom seeds. As he emerged from the restroom, he began firing a rifle, killing 3. Hearing shots ring out, this guy acted within seconds. Listen to this. Hearing shots ring out. I've never even read this account of it. Elisha Dickin immediately identified the shooter, took cover behind a pillar, drew his weapon, and fired at the shooter from 40 yards away. Initially, they said it took 2 minutes to bring the shooter down. It happened in less than 15 seconds. He had a handgun, and he was half a football field away almost. And he took this shooter out before the shooter was able to do any damage. Didn't need the cops, didn't need government, didn't need permission. He took action. And that's how you stop it. Because when seconds count, police are minutes away, and what good does that do you? He was able to eliminate the threat. While doing this, Elisha also was waving innocent civilians to safety. There were countless number of innocent lives saved that day due to his quick and selfless thinking. The city of Greenwood and the residents here owe a great debt of gratitude. Absolutely, they do. They do. And here's you want the coup de grace on this? His his girlfriend was a nurse or a nurse's assistant or whatever. And after Elisha took down the shooter, she began to render medical aid to the people who had been shot. How's that for a dynamic duo for you? No cops needed. It's like, what will we ever do without cops? Elisha Dickin shows you exactly what you can do. I cannot prove this, but it appears to me that he is a well-practiced individual, probably made it a habit of going to the shooting range or going out in the backyard if he lives on property and, familiarizing himself with his weapon, its capabilities, and he became a dang good shot because shooting something from 40 yards away in a high stress situation with a moving target while the adrenaline is pumping and people are screaming is very good. 5 stars. Yeah, exactly. Everhard Outdoors says good on the city for not making him a criminal. Exactly. Maybe they wouldn't because they would get pushback from the world, at least the American audience. Everybody's got half a brain in their head. So when you have a situation like this that happened in this, let's see what the situation was. Let's see how they're reporting on this. Let me refresh this.
Many cases, we appreciate you taking time for us. If you're able to, okay, physically, but of course, as Stuart, as you eloquently said,
okay, let's see.
I'm joined now by Kelly Mackey. She is an employee who works at Macy's. Kelly, tell me about your experience and what you saw tonight.
I didn't see anything. All I heard was one of my coworkers tell me there might be an active shooter. Let's get out of the building. So we all just bundled up and gathered around, and we went out the emergency exit and went with all our coworkers outside to be safety.
What were you thinking when all this was going on?
I couldn't believe it's happening. I've seen so many videos, and we have training videos on this, and I never thought it would actually happen here.
Did the training videos come in handy? I mean, were you ready when this happened?
I was ready as forever as I was. I mean, I knew I was going to run because that was my only...
I wonder if she's talking about the police training videos where they... What was it, an FBI training video where it said, what should you do in an active shooter situation? Run, hide, and if all else fails, you have to fight. So grab a desk chair, grab a tape dispenser, grab whatever you can to fight that intruder off. Never do they say, you're a good person. Grab a firearm. Put yourself on an equal plane with the assailant so that you can have a fighting chance. They never say that. Why? Why don't they ever say that? Seems like common sense to me. Because we don't want all these people out there walking around with guns, Brian. Don't you understand how dangerous that would be? Well, if given a choice and an assailant is, say, coming down a hallway or going through the library bookshelves and he's coming toward you, what would you rather have in your hands? A cell phone so that you can dial 911 or a slide the rack 1911? I mean, really, what would you want? So that you can call the police who are minutes away and they will never get there in time to save your bacon. They cannot. Even if they could snap their fingers, it could be too late.
The option. I wasn't going to hide and I wasn't going to fight because the shooter wasn't there, but I definitely ran when they told me that.
Now
and don't get me wrong. It's also dangerous to take down the shooter because when the cops arrive, they could view you as the shooter like they did with Johnny Hurley. Remember that? In Arvada, Colorado? Johnny Hurley, this guy, this psychopath was intent on taking out as many cops as he could. Johnny Hurley in I think it was like a Goodwill store, Army surplus store, heard the shots fire out. His training kicks in. He runs toward the danger while 3 cops are locked in their police station fearing for their lives. He takes care of business, takes out the shooter, and then one of those cops comes out and ends Johnny Hurley's life. So, don't confuse what I'm saying here. You're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. I would rather have a firearm, but it's a dangerous thing when you're the one holding the gun and the cops show up because, take the advice from Johnny Hurley. Well, you can't because Arvada Police Department ended his life. It's dangerous. It's dangerous to be right when the government is always wrong.
We've used the phrase shooter. Did you actually hear any gunshots?
No, I did not.
It's Kelly Mackey, of Macy.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Steve McDonald says they keep assuming that if guns were legal, everyone will have one. Wrong. If you took all the gun laws down today, how much in the landscape of reality do you think would even change? See, the reason I hate gun laws is because there are people that are in some very dangerous situations, very dangerous areas like apartment complexes in New York City. You know, they're elderly people or they're women who are trying to, make it through life and not become a victim. And these people in these areas cannot get a firearm because the politicians, the political parasites have made it so difficult for them to get a personal protection device that they give up and they don't try it. And then they become sitting ducks for the street criminals.
His employee who obviously was able to run out of the department store before or when the lockdown before.
There was a 6-minute video here somewhere. Where is it? They did an actual video on this. Let's see. What actually happened here? Come on, give us some information. We can confirm that first responders were there. A source with WPTV said no one yet has been located that's been hurt. A person who was inside the mall told this reporter that she heard 5 to 10 shots fired. Tony Lester said that she had just left Nordstrom and was walking to Starbucks on the second floor when she heard a big bang. When you're going through the course of your life, don't you want to have something with you that's accessible at all times that you can pull out and defend yourself and anybody else in your zone of influence? Don't you want that? Isn't that a rational thought? I mean, people can call you, oh, you're just paranoid. That's why you carry a gun around all the time, right? You're just paranoid. Really? Is it paranoid or preparedness? I mean, call me whatever you want to. When I'm in aisle 7 of the grocery store and I hear shots ring out, I'm not going to be freaking out as much as I would if I didn't have something to protect myself. I don't want to be a fish in a barrel. What do you mean you don't want to be a fish in a barrel like the rest of us? Why don't you disarm like the post office sign says and just stand in line unarmed like the rest of us? What's wrong with you, Brian? Yeah, there's something wrong with me. Got it. Who are they going to thank if you were able to take down the assailant? Who are those 15 or 20 people standing in line at the post office going to thank when you save their lives? It's kind of like that Luby's incident that happened in the early 90s in Killeen, Texas. What was her name? Miss Huff, Greta Hupp. She was used to carrying her firearm, but she left it in the car that day because the Texas legislators legislated her out of her right to keep and bear arms. So if they caught her with a firearm, she would be labeled as a criminal. So it's a catch-22, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And then what was the guy's name? Hernard. I think his name was Hernard. George Hernard crashed into the front glass of the Luby's restaurant with his stupid Ford pickup truck, got out and started opening fire on everybody. Like 23 to 26 people ended up dying. 2 of those people were Greta Hupp's mother and father, elderly mother and father. She couldn't save him because the legislators made sure that she was a criminal in the eyes of the state if she decided to protect herself and her family. How evil is that? How evil is that? God, it's like there's no common sense. There's no common decency. She left Nordstrom, was walking to Starbucks on the second floor when she heard a big bang and wondered if something had fallen. Moments later, she saw numerous people running through the mall, claiming there was a shooter inside. What if you didn't run? You had a personal protection device. You had training under your belt. You told your family to get behind you. You crouched down behind the, whatever to obscure your presence, and you took a carefully aimed shot and you took that person down. You didn't have to call the police. No muss, no fuss. Lester said she was escorted outside before she left. Police searched her vehicle. The police searched her vehicle? I left the mall and every single vehicle that was exiting the mall was searched before we actually. So everybody is suspected of criminal act. We got to search the vehicle because the guy could be in your car. Well, he's not. You're not searching my vehicle. So, whoa, that's interesting. Did not know that. Did anybody know this? It doesn't look like you could have left the mall parking lot until they violated your Fourth Amendment rights under the guise of, we got a criminal on the loose. We got a criminal on the loose trumps your individual right to be secure in your property. Really? I left the mall and every single vehicle that was exiting the mall was searched before we actually left. I was told to open my windows. They checked my trunk. They checked my windows. They were just making sure nobody was in the car except for me. Wouldn't you have liked to be in the... You ain't checking my vehicle. Roll them up. You're not checking my vehicle. Oh, they probably would have pulled the guns on you on that. Oh, you are opening your window. You are opening this vehicle. We're going to drag you out of the car. We got to find out if there's a bad guy in there. Oh, so you're telling me it's okay to violate my rights if you suspect that there's a man on the loose. Safety of the public will always be the alibi of tyrants. You want to know who a tyrant is? They're willing to violate your rights for ... reasons. Amanda Mackman told the press she was in the back of the store where she works as an assistant manager when she heard what sounded like a gunshot and then saw mall patrons running and seeking shelter inside the store. She said she and her coworkers made sure the doors were locked and everyone hid in the back. Stay quiet. We don't want him to know that we're here. What if everybody's like, ch-ch? Or you wouldn't even do that. Have you guys ever noticed that on a movie? If somebody has a firearm in their hand and they just point it like that, you hear the ch-ch. A gun can't make that noise when it's in one hand and you got your finger on the trigger. Where does that freaking noise come from? Why do they do that? Oh, it sounds so movie-like. But if you already had a round in the chamber, which you should, as long as that safety's on, you know how to use your gun. You don't want to be wasting time putting a round in the chamber and making a whole bunch of noise when you could just pull that thing out and take careful aim. For me, it was all about making sure I stayed calm, which is hard to do in that situation because if you're not calm, then the customers are not calm. So I really did my job in the customers. That when we were walking out, they said they never felt so safe in their life being in the back store while there was a shooting going on in the mall. What? They never felt so safe in their life being in the back of the store while there's a shooting going on in the mall. How many of those people have actually been through a mall shooting? That's kind of a weird thing to say. Man, in all my experience of being in mall shootings, this employee right here really calmed my fears. I'll tell you what, man, it's 10 out of 10. I'm going to leave a Yelp review for her. That's so crazy. Several people who are barricaded inside the mall have now been allowed to leave the building while escorted by police. The Palm Beach State College Gardens campus was also on lockdown. According to the school district of Palm Beach County, 2 schools were closed. Dwight D. Eisenhower K-8 school was, were they locked down? The last shooting occurred near the Gardens Mall, happened outside of Macy's in 2017. There were no injuries in that shooting. There were reports. Let's see. All right, that's it. What are they saying over here? Oh, they're still going.
They're reunited and whatnot. We're watching them walk away now, holding hands. So we're going to send it back to you guys.
That really stuck with me, Dia, knowing a mother lost her son for an hour. It just speaks to the chaos that happened after that shooting.
It's time for this press conference to begin here. So we see Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas
and
Police Chief Stacey Graves
press
walking
conference.
up to that microphone there.
Okay, here we go.
Lucas, the mayor of Kansas City. I'm joined today by Police Chief Stacey Graves, our Fire Chief Ross Grundison. After I'm done speaking...
What?
This is an NBC News
What are they doing?
special report. Here's Lester Holt.
Good afternoon. We're back on the air with an update on that
He was just
shooting
about
at
to
the
talk.
parade to celebrate the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win. We now know that 1 person has been killed. At least 10 others have been injured. 2 people have been detained. Police there briefing now with an update. The mayor also.
Let's listen. And we recognize that there are some who are injured. We are praying for the safety of everyone. I've talked to a few different folks so far. One, we have spoken to the Kansas City Chiefs, who made clear that their prayers are with everyone who was at the parade today, everyone in Kansas City, and everyone who was touched by this incident. They also noted that their players, coaches, and staff are all accounted for at this point and safe. We, however, know that this is a fluid situation, so all that we are sharing now may change as the hours go ahead. We've also received a call from the White House that offered all federal assistance in the investigation. We had federal agencies present today. We appreciate that, and certainly in the days ahead and the hours ahead, we will make sure we continue to do this work. I will say personally, first, a thank you to the women and men of law enforcement, to the women and men who work with the Kansas City Fire Department and our other agencies. When the shooting started, I, like many others, ran for safety. I saw a number of agencies, including the Kansas City Police Department, officers with guns drawn who were running towards danger. We thank them for that. As I was leaving the scene, I saw members of our Kansas City Fire Department administering aid to folks who are seriously injured without concern for the shootings and the challenges that were near them. This is absolutely a tragedy, the likes of which we would have never expected in Kansas City, and the likes of which we will remember for some time. However, I want to say thank you to those who are making sure that we are safe today, those who are investigating this incident, and those who will continue to make sure that those who committed these acts today are brought to justice. We'll come back for some questions at the end of the chief's comments, but now the police chief, Stacey Graves.
Chief Stacey Graves, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. At the conclusion of the chief's rally today, there were shots fired on the west side of Union Station.
I just can't take her seriously.
Immediately, officers responded to the area, took 2 people into custody, and also immediately rendered life-sustaining aid to those victims. We're still gathering information on the number and the status of victims. But like I said, we know that one of the victims is deceased. We also know that officers ran towards danger. Officers were there to keep everyone safe.
I wonder if that's true.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment. We had over 800 law enforcement officers, Kansas City and other agencies,
800
at the location to keep everyone safe.
You had one job.
Because of bad actors, which were very few, this tragedy occurred, even in the presence of uniformed law enforcement officers who again ran towards them and took them into custody.
The more she
To
says,
the people who were
the less I
injured in
believe
this
it.
tragedy, our hearts go out to you and your families. This investigation is just beginning, and we are working safely to clear all surrounding areas and businesses. This is still an active investigation. We will continue to keep you updated. We will keep you updated on Twitter and most likely a follow-up press availability. Did you have anything? No. One of our victims has been declared deceased. We have.
I wonder if those sirens are really necessary. They're waiting till the sirens pass. I'm turning them off because they were pretty loud and obnoxious.
Right now, we have up to 10 to 15 injured by. Yes. Right now, we do not have an exact number of people who were victims of a gunshot wound. It could be upwards from 10 to 15 with one deceased.
What kind of firearm?
I do not have conditions on our victims just yet.
Any believed to be children?
I do not believe that any of them were children.
She knows. Come on.
Nothing of note.
They're liars. She knows all about this thing.
That is still under investigation. I myself was outside when I heard the shots fired. It is an ongoing investigation. It's going to take us a little bit to determine exactly what led up to the shooting. I will say, though, we do have 2 suspects in custody.
There are circulating on social media that some fans may have helped to detain one of those.
I have heard that as well. I have heard that fans got involved in the apprehension or the pursuit of one of the suspects. I cannot confirm that right now, but that is something that I have heard myself. Yes?
What about the response time? Because you say 10 to 15 hostages injured in the shooting, but there was 800 officers there. This happened pretty quickly. So can you talk about when this started, sort of a timeline from there to the point where your officers responded to the point where you had KCFD helping to
Absolutely.
Your first aid?
As soon as the rally concluded, there were shots fired on the west side of Union Station. Officers were on scene in the area. I know one of the suspects was immediately pursued on foot. Like I said, there's 2 suspects in custody. I have heard the information that was just requested. I will confirm or deny that. But after that, immediately officers began rendering life-sustaining aid, calling in fire, which is the fire department, to also assist those victims.
Do you know if there were more than 2 people taken into custody? Because we had 2 people, after you guys had made your announcement, there were 2 people in custody, 2 people live on our air being taken, handcuffed, put into vans. So can you tell us about that and the process as this investigation continues?
I don't know exactly the 2 that you're talking about that your camera caught on video being loaded into a wagon. I don't know that, but I can tell you that in and around that scene, it is still active. Not active in necessarily threats, but it's a very active scene. We're still investigating. This is still early on. We still have parties that are walking into hospitals.
Chief Graves, do you know anything about the suspects in terms of where they're from? Are they from here?
I do not know that, but that's something that I also will be finding out.
2 questions. We were hearing upwards of maybe 20 shots. Can you talk about the number that you heard?
I'm hearing 10 to 15, possibly 15, with the one that is deceased.
And do you know anything about the timing? It seems odd if it's waited to the very end of the rally.
I don't have anything about, I can't give you an answer on the timing. I can just say that that's when it occurred, and we are investigating what led up to that. Maybe once we get some of those details, we'll know why that happened at that time, but right now it's still too new.
Chief, was it just one incident or multiple incidents that injured multiple?
That is something that is under investigation.
Mayor Quinton Lucas, you talked about how you were on the ground and you yourself had to run for safety. I understand we're still waiting on a timeline and trying to understand what exactly happened. But we were having a Super Bowl parade, and this is what the country is talking about now. What is your message to this city at a time like this?
I second the comments by the chief of police. I'm heartbroken. First of all, I'm praying for the victims and the families impacted. I start with them. I'm incredibly upset, disappointed. I was there with my wife. I was there with my mother. We never would have thought that we, along with Chiefs players, along with fans, hundreds of thousands of people, would be forced to run for our safety today. I think that I'll let the investigation shake out before coming to any further conclusions, but I think the initial response absolutely is anger. You know, we have done a number of these now, and this is a day that a lot of people look forward to, something they remember for a lifetime. And what they shouldn't have to remember is the threat of gun violence, marring a day like this, injuring them and their families. This morning, I was actually thinking about
gun violence,
as many people in Kansas City did. And I don't want us to have to, in our country, for every big event, think about a concern of being shot. As the chief noted, we had a lot of law enforcement officers there today. They did exceptional and outstanding work, and I will second that again. Because on your timeline point, I was inside of Union Station. We heard something. A number of us start running, and I see a stream of officers going the exact other direction, in with guns drawn, ready to address danger. And that was the situation throughout. People who responded absolutely immediately. But I wish that we lived in a world where they wouldn't have to do that. I wish we live in a world where we wouldn't have to see incidents like that. But I'm as heartbroken as anybody. We will do a full and thorough investigation. I hope that we bring whoever this is to justice, and we will continue to try to make sure that we can be as safe as possible. However, when you have people who decide to bring guns to events, when you have people who are deciding to try to mar events, celebratory ones like this one, all of us start to become members of this club that none of us want to be a part of, which is those who have experienced mass shootings. I hope for Kansas City this is one of the last times we experience that.
Were the players in any danger at any point?
What's that? Sorry, I'm going.
Players in danger at any point?
Was I in danger?
No, were any of the players, the Chiefs players?
You know what? I think we'll let the investigation take a look at that. The police department responded effectively, I think incredibly quickly, to make sure that people would be out of harm's way. That being said, a number of us had to flee from a situation because we heard a sound of gunshots. So I'll let you answer your own question in terms of whether you think that's something that puts you in danger or not. In my view, anytime shots are nearby, you don't know where they're coming from, you don't know who's firing them and all of that, then perhaps there is a situation of danger. But
thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. We're going to get back inside.
Can I ask a fire question?
Of the 10 to 15 injured, as you say, are all of those gunshots, I want to know, and
Do you have a sense of how many, or are some of those also political?
We've covered that. We don't have that information.
I'll just answer real quick. Hold on. 10 to 15 is what we have. Potentially 15. One deceased. I don't have a condition on the other gunshot victims.
Those are all gunshots.
Correct. That's correct.
We don't know how many.
One fire question.
No, I do not.
Because Chief Graves said there
We're going to have a lot of updates later, guys. We got to go inside and gather this information. I appreciate it.
Where are the updates?
You would think before they stepped in front of the camera, they would brush up on the questions, the basic questions.
I just have. Excuse me.
One more thing.
I just have one thing to say.
Okay, what is it?
This is not Kansas City. I'm angered by what happened, but I want you to know that the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department and all the law enforcement officers that were there today, that were serving and protecting, did the best that they could, and I'm so proud of them that they ran into danger, getting 2 people into custody, and at the same time rendering life-sustaining aid to those victims. We were here for a safe celebration, and because of 2 bad actors or more, it is why we're standing here today. We will recover as a city. My heart goes out to our victim who is deceased, but your police department stands ready, and we are invested in the safety and betterment of Kansas City. Thank you.
It's commendable for anybody to run toward danger to save others, but you don't have to have a uniform badge and a gun in the authority of the state to do it, as we've seen with Johnny Hurley and Elisha Dickin and many, many other people who put their lives on the line to stop a madman from creating more tragedy. Let's hear you, Lester. What do you have to say there?
A very active investigation, but here's what we've learned. At least 1 person dead, 10 to 15 people may have been shot, according to the police chief. 2 people are in custody. There's some question about...
You know how easy it would be to get that kind of information, that basic information. How many shots were fired? Who was the person in suspect? Who's the suspect that you have in custody? What kind of firearm was it? How many people were killed? How many people were injured? It would be so easy to get that information, but they always withhold it. Why?
Yeah, so Lester, that's exactly what we saw was the conclusion of the celebratory rally after that parade. Thousands of people still in this area behind me here, but starting to trickle out as people do at the end of large events when they get the sense that it is wrapping up. And then as we are seeing on our screen, we saw people running away from...
I'm going to mute this while they're talking. I think I found like the actual moment. Maybe not. Let's see what this is. I haven't seen it.
Breaking news that we need to share with you. We do have reports of a possible shooting that has happened not too far from where we're sitting right now. We did see a number of police officers run over to where we think this is happening. We do not have anything confirmed at this point, but it's kind of rattled.
I'm going to pause the. I'm going to mute this a little bit because this is probably copyrighted music, so I need to do a break here.
To the bottom of what has happened. Do you see any?
Let's see. She's not really saying anything. Let's see if people behind start running.
And it's actually very difficult to kind of tell exactly what's happening because people are trying to leave the area as the rally wrapped up. Of course, there are hundreds of thousands of people down here, so many people just going in different directions. We didn't hear anything from where we were. We just saw a very heavy police presence rush to.
So it didn't even happen near, obviously it didn't happen near the main stage, or you would see all these people running right now. If the shots had already happened like a minute, 2 minutes prior to this, you'd think you would see people in that crowd running.
It's good news that it's under control, but it's something obviously that we'll be keeping an eye on here.
Which makes me think if you wanted to have some kind of operation, some kind of CIA operation, you'd think you would do it at the peak of the actual parade. Raw video one day. Let's see. Here's some people running right here.
Kansas City, thank you, Chiefs Kingdom.
Oh, okay, there we go. Did you hear it? Okay, so when the cameraman pans to the left, I haven't seen this. When the cameraman pans to the left, you can hear what kind of sounds like firecrackers. Let's see.
You Kansas City, thank you, Chiefs Kingdom.
Listen real close. They zoomed in where it wasn't happening. Okay, I'm going to pause it because Beastie Boys is definitely copyrighted. Let's see here. Come on. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Here we go. He zoomed in away from where everybody was running away. So if you see people running, pan the camera where they're running from. What are they doing here? Inclination B. Okay, people are running this way. Let me pan my camera that way and see where it's originating from. There's the cops running towards something. Doesn't even look like they know where they're running to. That one guy had his gun out. Let's see the Counterfeit News Network.
At least one person has been killed, 14 others injured at a Super Bowl victory rally in Kansas.
Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. Helps a lot.
And law enforcement running at the scene moments ago. That was a chaotic scene that is now, we're learning, resulting in casualties. We are awaiting a news conference from police with updates, but I want to go straight to...
Why are they all running into the building?
We're learning some new information about the numbers here, how many people injured, and unfortunately, we are learning of a death.
No, absolutely. And, you know, as we all fear, the number keeps going up now. We're hearing from the fire department in Kansas City that there are now...
everybody's got cameras. Those cameras are likely out because of the event that they're at. There's probably tons of video of this from tons of different angles.
Told that 3 are currently in critical condition, 5 people right now are in serious condition, and there is 1 person with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, authorities have not yet indicated what among those who are suffering gunshot wounds, what other injuries may have been sustained during fleeing this shooting taking place at the end of the celebration. But again, we're told right now 1 person who is dead, approximately 14 other victims, and at least 3 people right now in critical condition in the hospital. As you mentioned, Abby, we are awaiting this press conference from police to provide additional information. There's a lot we don't know about what actually transpired, but the fact that they are holding a press conference in and of itself is signaling to us that it appears at least the emergent phase of this incident is now over, you know, apart from some type of manhunt that might be underway in the shooting.
Was that the guy they just did an interview with? That looks like the same guy.
Is signaling to us that it appears at least the emergent phase is signaling to us that it appears police to provide additional information. There's a lot we don't know about what actually transpired, but the fact that they are holding a press conference in and of itself is signaling to us that it appears at least the emergent phase of this incident is now
this guy right here. Did they not just interview that guy on that other news show?
Over.
That looks like the guy with no teeth.
You know, apart.
Yeah, that looks like the guy. Huh. How did CNN just so happen to film one of the guys that another news crew ended up interviewing?
From some type of manhunt that might be underway, authorities typically they will come out and provide information once the emergency is over. So we will wait to hear what authorities say as far as what they believe happened here, who was responsible, any additional information on the victims. And a major question we have is authorities have said that 2 individuals who were armed were detained at the scene pending additional information investigation. They haven't indicated that those people were specifically involved here in this shooting. And then again, finally, one major question we all have, did this shooting actually relate to this massive Super Bowl celebration that was taking place there in Kansas City, or was this something that was occurring adjacent, unrelated, and you just happened to have this?
Have you noticed how many cops are running with their handguns in their hands?
Large crowd there, a lot of unanswered questions. Again, that press conference should be starting here moments from now.
All right, Josh Campbell, stand by for us as we do await that press conference that's expected this hour. Back with me now, though, is Senior National Security Analyst Juliette Kayyem and former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe. Andy, I want to get to you on what Josh was just highlighting there. There are always these uncertainties in this situation, but some key ones. One, police are being very careful in how they describe these two armed individuals who have been detained in the
Man, we've been going for an hour and 18 minutes. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Okay, so if you were there, there's almost 500 people in here. If you were there at the event and you want to call in, put a 1 in the room, because I would like to hear what you have to say about this. Yeah, I don't know, High Desert. I don't know if it is or not. It's at least the 48th mass shooting in the United States so far this year, according to Gun Violence Archive. This really counts as a mass shooting? I thought it was only, I guess it does, 4 or more. Air quotes on running. How did they start announcing it before it happened? Did they? Well, I mean, those announcers were there, but there could have been announcers like, 200 yards away saying, hey, there's something just happened. It sounds like they're shooting, and they could have got that in their ear. So wasn't there, but like when you take calls, OG Cabbage, you're interested in calling in? Careful not to expose the individuals. Why are they keeping secrets? Yeah, I won't expose anybody. But if somebody wants to call in, so only one person wants to call in. All right, let me go ahead and open the phone lines, but let it be because I want to hear from people who are actually there if what is being reported, because we don't know if anything they're saying on mainstream media is true. We don't know if anything the police chief said was true. We really, really don't. And I don't think it's a good idea to just take their word for it. You can believe what you want to believe, but at the end of the day, if you take the word of mainstream media, that's all it is a belief. So let me go ahead and open the phone line. Let me make sure my do not disturb is off here. Let's see, how do I do that? Voice. Do not disturb. Do not disturb up. Okay. Do not disturb is not on. Okay, I'm gonna put the number on the screen. Please, try to be just, if you're gonna call in, make sure that you were there and you can give me your take on it. The number is 918-410-9174. 918-410-9174. And this is for people who are actually there in Kansas City, Missouri during this reported event, because I do want to get your angle on it. Maybe tell us where you were standing, what you saw, what you heard, how the police responded. Thanks, Joshua Goggins. 434 likes. Thank you. Let's see if we can get up to 500. Maybe an acorn fell on top of the cup. Who's the woman in the yellow shirt, red vest giving orders? I missed her. I love my do not disturb button. Hey, you know what I was thinking about doing is for public safety in the room. I need to call him and get the lowdown on his situation. All right. I'll give the phone thing like 2 more minutes. If you were there in Kansas City when this mainstream media event happened in Kansas City, Missouri, give me a call and let us know what you saw. Let us know what you saw over there. Can you get some Kansas City Chiefs fans over there with that? Of course you can. Of course you can. The military there, they seemed ready. Well, she said there were like 800 people on the beat there to make sure everybody was safe. So I don't know if that includes military personnel or what. Let's see what else we got here. That's live. Not really interested in interviews from mainstream media because we know that they tend to pick and choose.
9 with gunshot wounds.
Say it again.
12 patients, 11 are kids, 9 with gunshot wounds.
There we go. Look. Here we go.
You all need to take that in.
Here we go.
Because that's every single one of our responsibility. Mick?
Hey guys,
this is live right now.
Shout out, by the way, to Elise.
Yes.
And Megan.
This is up to date live right here on NBC. Do you see? I'm glad we just caught that.
Al Miller and Kyle Haas, and I'm missing a few guys out there, guys and gals. I think Danielle is still out there, and Steve as well, for staying out there.
I'm gonna back this up.
Kids.
I'm gonna back this up. Watch this.
And are blocking off still as well. We'll go ahead and send things.
They will always attempt to take the moral high ground and make you feel bad, make you feel responsible. It's all of our responsibilities.
I do want to share one update from Children's Mercy. They say they have 12 patients, 11 are kids, 9 with gunshot wounds.
Look at her face.
Say it again.
12 patients, 11 are kids, 9 with gunshot wounds.
We have to do something.
You all need to take that in.
We have to do something.
Every single one of our responsibility.
Every single one of us.
Mick?
Hey guys, so we were, shout out, by the way, to Elise.
Yes.
And Megan and Caitlin and Kevin and Al Miller and Kyle Haas, and I'm missing a few guys out there, guys and gals. I think Danielle is still out there, and Steve as well.
William Babbitt just bought 5 memberships for people in the room. B. Hendricks got it. Illiterate got one. Patriot, James, Jesus, and Dopey Tripod got a membership.
It's crazy to think.
Thank you, William.
There to cover this huge event. It's 2 events, right? This huge event that was so positive, and now it's this huge event that's so negative, and so many of those guys and gals were out there at 4, 5, and 6 in the morning, and they're going to be out there 4, 5, and 6 o'clock tonight because of what transpired today. Our point of view, to me, it seemed like there were 3 different scenes. Right? You had the shooting, the number of shots fired while we were on the air. I didn't hear them. We had the headphones on, and people were relaying to us, okay, something's happening. We saw.
I have no doubt about that. 50-22 freedom. No doubt about that.
That's the video I shot there of all the police officers running into Union Station. Something happened in there. Later we saw somebody being wheeled out on a stretcher. You see from both sides of the stage, cops are streaming into Union Station. So that seemed like really kind of like the second scene to me. And then the third one was probably several minutes later. It sounded like a gunshot, just not far out of screen there, right behind the NFL Network site set they had there. There's the video right there. And you see more police convening on that area there. It looked like it was kind of at the top.
She's still sighing in the background. Gotta do something. Anything, we must do something. We have to save the little people. If we can just save one little person, just one. It doesn't matter what it takes. It doesn't matter the rights you have to give up. It doesn't matter what gets infringed on. All that matters is that we save the little people.
Happened inside Union Station, as well as the gunshot we heard later.
You know, Mick, we've got some information coming in. We just got an update from St. Luke saying they have 1 shooting victim there. 4 others are being treated for injuries from fleeing. We're also expecting a press conference coming up from University Health at 5:15. That's in a little under 20 minutes. They're going to have the CEO and their
Joshua Goggins. Thank you for that super chat. I find it a little odd that nearly all of them were little people.
We're hoping for some more details, some more answers. I know all of you are waiting for that as well. That should be coming up at about 5 o'clock, give or take a few minutes.
I know we got a statement from Congresswoman Sharice Davids of Kansas. It's supposed to be coming in, but we haven't received it just yet. When we get it, we'll put it up on the screen so that way you can see it for yourself. We're just really working to bring you the most up-to-date information. And Mick, you're there.
Yeah.
People are there with our families.
There you go.
And you see the kids.
Redneck rebel.
Taking photos with them to know that,
save the children and the military.
Out there, probably even more than normal, because they were wanting a pop star to show up, right? And there was rumors that she might be there, and we take pride in all the people that show up to these parades. For a town our size, we'll bring 500,000 people out to celebrate the Chiefs 3 times, the Royals 1 time. but that's a lot of people there, right?
Right.
And when something like this happened, you mentioned all the injuries.
What does 3 times the Royals mean? They said that twice already. What does that mean?
Been out there all day long, a lot of them drinking, running away. You're going to have injuries from that as well. And then, of course, the gunshots and the people, the kids in the hospital is just the worst news right there. And,
absolutely. Mick, you've had a slight moment to catch your breath, a slight moment, I'll say. What's going through your mind at this point?
I mean, look, there were a lot of us up there so we have, we get inside the ropes, right? Because we are a partner with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's great for our coverage. We got the jib arms in there. We're inside the ropes. We're interviewing all these athletes, and it's a big, big day for us. So we're on the podium. We're the closest to the stage of anybody. We have a great view. All the reporters, after they're done, they come up on the stage and watch. So there's a number of people up there with us. And once everybody started running out of Union Station, that's when we knew, okay, maybe whatever happened moments ago isn't.
Oh, okay. Is that what that is, Scott? Thanks for clearing that up.
We're gonna take cover, and we
Kansas City Royals baseball team. Okay, I'm just not into that.
Life was in danger. Maybe I should have, but at that time right there, when cops are running in, you realize you have no idea what's going on. In the end, we'll come out and maybe, like they said, it's 1 shooter, 2 shooters, they got in a fight or whatever. But at that time, you have no idea the scope of this thing, how big it could be. So that's racing through your mind to where you're like, okay, this is a big unknown at this point.
A lot of confusion right there. I mean, I can only imagine all of the people right there. I mean, Caitlin and Kevin were talking about people.
Yeah, will he say, here's the deal? You know, people go, look, translation, here's the deal. High desert biker, with all these cell phones and cameras, where's the video of the assailant,
the shuttle,
right?
Mackenzie and I, and once I got past the perimeter, I realized they're not going to let me back in. That is a crime scene right there that we were in the middle of for so long, and we were the only ones there. And the police officers who were so cooperative with us, with our badges on and everything.
Can't get over the fence there.
Let us continue to broadcast for a while until you saw that Caitlin and Kevin needed to get out of there, and rightfully so. So I wasn't able to get back in there. You know, I'm the sports guy and everything, but I'm willing to lend a hand and grab a camera, grab a microphone, whatever is necessary, because this is, you know, such an awful deal, but such a big deal, and it's going to take, you know, a few days, right, to unwrap all this and what occurred there today.
I think it bears repeating. Children's Mercy alone took 12 patients. 11 of them are children, and 9 of them have gunshot wounds out of a Chiefs Super Bowl parade.
It's different than what we heard in the press conference, correct?
Yes.
So this is the latest info. We just got it minutes ago.
I just want to caution people at home. We got to be patient. We got to give people time to work. I know we want answers. We're fighting to get those answers for you, but this is going to continue to evolve, and we're going to be with you. Press conference from Kansas City Police and the mayor. We also have an update from Congresswoman Sharice Davids that we'll bring you, but right now, we're all going to take a breath. We're going to reset, and we'll see you back here in just a moment.
This is not Kansas City.
Everyone started running out of the building, and you could hear people yelling active shooter.
Yeah, there's that guy. There's that guy with the glasses.
We definitely heard the shot. The girl next to me, where my daughter was standing with her husband, was shot.
I was there with my wife. I was there with my mother. We never would have thought we'd be forced to run for our safety today.
I'll cry it out. I'll do what I need to once I reach my husband and my family, my loved ones.
The lady next to me, she has some blood on her.
Probably the worst feeling I've ever felt. And I tried to just hold her so nothing would happen to her.
We continue to follow breaking news for you tonight here on KSHB 41 News. Several people are hurt. One person is dead, including children, after shots were fired near the parking garage at Union Station. I need to clarify, there is not confirmation that a child has died. We know that one person has died. This entire situation unfolded at 1:25 p.m., just minutes after the Chiefs Kingdom Champions Parade rally wrapped up. Hundreds of thousands of fans were still gathered in the area, then started running for cover, jumping barricades, and ducking for their safety, including our KSHB 41 crew.
And as Dia just mentioned, right now we know one person was killed. Police saying at least 10 to 15 people were hurt. We are working to learn if that number will increase. We know patients were taken to Children's.
If that's true, that is sad, but it's all suspect to me. What happened? Did they go offline? Oh, they ended their live stream. Huh. Or was that? It says it's live. It says it's live right now. They've been live streaming for 12 hours. I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I tend not to believe everything that I see. That's why I'm doing a live stream so that we can put our heads together, because none of us is greater than all of us. Thank you for the 479 likes. And yeah, I did go over that. Here's that video that you guys have been talking about. I did a video on it. I'm waiting for YouTube to get done releasing it, because if you release it before monetization goes on there, then it doesn't ever go anywhere. It gets bottom shelved. But you got this officer named Hernandez. So you got this Marquise Jackson guy. He walks in on a scene. It looks like he's having a spat with his girlfriend. You got Hernandez on the scene and a couple other people on the scene, including Sergeant Beth Roberts. And she's been with the department since 2008. And the weird thing is, and I'll go to Hernandez body cam. I don't want to spoil my video that I did for you, but here's Beth Roberts body cam. And now we're going to go to Hernandez body cam. When he gets to this point right here in the video, and I got to be careful what I play here, because I just got to be careful on a live stream. So I want to show you something. Listen. Okay. Now he already reacted to something that he said he heard. Did you guys hear anything? I'm going to play it over again, and then I'm going to play it over again. But did you hear anything? It's so Police Academy that it makes me laugh, but kind of not, because a guy could have died. So let's see. So listen. I don't even know what to say. We're going to watch it again. Did you hear anything? Listen. See, I don't know if you can hear it on this, but I've got it all the way turned. Oh, no, I don't. Here, let me turn it all the way up and I'll play it again. You can hear it sounds like a rumble, but it's like a shot. Like if there was a shot, it's almost like an artillery shot way in the distance. That's all I heard, but I didn't heard any present imminent danger. This guy's life is on the line. Listen. Like it seems to me that he's literally making this whole thing up out of his head, and he freaks out, says shots fired 4 times, and then he says I'm hit once. And of course, if you have a partner, all of a sudden her body gets flooded with adrenaline. Now, there's this heightened sense of, oh my God, we're in danger. What do you mean? My partner just got hit. Where'd the bullets come from? And when she responds, she's like, what, where? Like she's surprised that he's even acting like this, because she didn't hear the shot that he said he heard. It's just, yeah, I'm hit. Man, you want to throw somebody into a tailspin, tell them you've just got hit by a bullet, and all of us would be concerned. You're just going to believe him. You're not going to question him. He's your partner. You would assume that he's not lying to you. And of course, you've drawn your weapon, because now there's imminent danger, because he said he just got hit. I don't want him to get hit again. I don't want to get hit, and I don't want the people standing with me to get hit. So of course, Beth is going to jump into action. Sergeant Beth Roberts. And she does. And then they both do a mag dump on the back of the patrol cruiser, where there's this innocent guy who literally did nothing, handcuffed in the back seat of the car, and he can't go anywhere. What the heck? If anybody in the room heard what he says he heard, I'll play it again in case you're just joined the room. Almost 500 likes, guys. Thanks for doing that. Okay, let's listen to it again. Here we go. Listen. Just fired! What the heck, man? What is wrong with you, dude? So this deputy ends up resigning from the police force. I don't even know what to say about this guy. I mean, he looks normal enough. You got the body cam footage from here. I'll zoom in on Hernandez and show you what he looks like here. He looks like just like a family man. Here's Hernandez right there. Wait, where is it? That's Hernandez. Yeah, he's got a YMCA, mustache. He's got a Village People mustache, but don't hold that against him.
It looks like the silencer pushed up to the dash area.
Yeah, there he is. There's Hernandez. What is this guy on that he heard something? That he literally thought he got shot, and he convinced his partner that he heard something and he got hit. I don't know, man. It's pretty bizarre. I wasn't going to say that, Roe v. Wade. I was not going to say that on a live stream. Let's see. It's too bad you can't have a sound run through isolation filters. Well, I put it on my... Here, let's see. Well, let's see. Can I do that? I can. Here, I can show you my... Yeah, we can do this. I think we can. Let's see. Let me back it up to... Where is it? We'll put the sound on visual. How will we do that? We will do it by clicking this button here and by clicking this button here. And here is my editing software. And let me get me out of the way. And let's see if I can. All right, now let me set it up. Let me cue it up. Uh-oh, what just happened? Oh, here we go. Let's see. There's where he falls. I don't have the sound turned on that one. Uh-oh, my resources are tapped out. I got to get a new computer. It's about to crash. It's about to crash. Oh, there it goes. Where? Man, it is going. Oh, I got OBS open. It's probably not going to let me do this. Yeah, I need better resources. Oh, so you think you need better resources? Yeah, I think I need. Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay, here we go. All right, I don't know if you can see this. What can you see? Because I want you to see. Okay, I'm going to play it. I wish that truck right there had not have gone by. It obscured something. It obscured the audio. Let's see. Okay, listen. Doggone it. That truck came at the exact time. I didn't hear a backfire or anything. All right, let me zoom in on this. So here is the audio wave file. I don't know if you can see this. Here, see my cursor? Here's the audio wave file down here. And I'll try to expand it out just a little bit. And I'm going to play this. Listen. Okay, but this click right here was him snapping his glove or something near the body cam. Can you see that? Oh man, maybe I should okay, maybe I should do this. All right. Yeah, you can still kind of see the video. Okay, so you see that little blip right there? That's him snap at his blue glove or something that caused the audio to jump. Now I'm going to play it over. Watch, listen. Okay, watch. See, there's where it would have been. Listen. See that it's like a distant mortar shell bombing. You know, it's like it goes just very short, like a second, less than a second. Listen. Another thing too, if there was a shot that was fired from inside the vehicle, glass would have broken, and there was no glass. They checked Jackson after this. There were no weapons found in the car. This guy imagined it was all in his head. And because he didn't know what he was talking about, and because he said shots fired 4 times, and because he said he was hit, his partner, Sergeant Beth Roberts, assumed that he was hit and there's an assailant that we got to take down. So that's kind of understandable. She couldn't see the other side of the vehicle. For all she knew, he did fire a shot from inside and hit her fellow officer, and we got to get rid of this guy. So, or, get rid of the assailant or put him down or neutralize him. And you kind of understand from her perspective why she mag dumped, but there's no reason why he would mag dump. Not even a single bullet. It's just so weird, man. Try to take a drink for every here's the deal. Let's listen to it one more time. It would have been nice if that truck didn't go by, but it did. But still, if there was a shot that came from the vehicle, they were talking about suppressors. They called them silencers, but they were talking about this guy potentially having multiple weapons with silencers. They kept saying silencer. Even then, you would still have the pop, that you would have the peak on the graph of broken glass, the broken side glass of the vehicle, and you didn't have that. So even with the truck going by and given that background noise, that subtle, that gradually climbing background noise, you would have had a peak in there. I don't know what the frick. This guy's got some internal issues, man, is all I can say. And then he rolls around. He gets up after he says shots fired 4 times and I'm hit once. And then his partner sergeant just frickin' poor guy. And poor Jackson, man. Poor Jackson. I'll go ahead and read this to you, but you got to promise to watch my video. You got to promise to still watch my video when it comes out. But he took to Facebook. Let me read you what he said. If you guys want me to do you guys want me to cover this? I don't want to assume. I don't want to presume, because we were talking about the shooting in Kansas City, and now we kind of went on to something else, and we're kind of segueing. So put a 1 in the room if you want me to continue on with this. I think it's kind of fascinating seeing what happened in the body cam, listening to what the cops said as far as their explanation. According to the sheriff, they put out a 44-page report on this frickin' thing. And it's interesting to see what Marquise Jackson says about this. So if you guys want me to cover it, I will. Let me just pull it up. I'm going to have to size this thing down. Where is it? Facebook. Oh, yeah, there it is. This is what Marquise Jackson, that's the guy who's in the back of the vehicle. Has anybody seen this yet? Has anybody seen what Marquise said? And just so we can put a face with the name. So you guys want me to do it? I swear to God, I'll watch it. Please show the rest of it. I can't though on a live stream, because it could get taken down. Almost sounded like he dropped his mag and slapped it back in. Man, there would have been a peak though. There would have been an audio peak, I think, for that. It could be, but it's just, let me show you this guy's face. Go back to my editing software over there. And because I don't think his face. Oh, wait, maybe I can show you his face right here. This is his Facebook page. Yeah, there's his Facebook page. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. All right, so this is Marquise Jackson in this picture on his Facebook page. We're going to read Marquise's comments on the this incident, but let me show you Marquise Jackson as they were taking him into custody when he was having a little spat with his girlfriend. I'm telling you guys, this is another reason why you never want to call the cops. You think your situation's bad right now. You have boy and girlfriend relationship problems. Wait until the cops arrive on the scene, because this girl, she was screaming bloody murder and probably thought that her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever it is, was dead. I would have thought that. I mean, mag dump in the back of a patrol car, bullets can go through seats. They can go through metal. They go through glass. So there's Marquise right there. So let's read what he said on Facebook. This is his accounting of this incident. And I don't know what kind of dude this is. This is his account. I'm Marquise Jackson. This is on November 12th, 2023, when that shooting happened. Was stopped by the Okaloosa County Sheriff's on McLaren Circle in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. While walking, another officer demanded another officer search me. I was confused. That would be Sergeant Beth Roberts telling, it was Hernandez and the other guy to, hey, you need to search this guy, and then put his hands behind his back and cuff him. I was confused on why I was being searched. Well, yeah, join the club. There's a lot of people out there who feel the same way. Let me see. Wait, why isn't this? What happened? Let me scoot this over here so we can get it all in there. Because they never told me anything. I decided to cooperate and just follow demands. I knew I had not done anything wrong. I was searched multiple times, then unlawfully handcuffed and placed into the back seat of the cop car while being strapped down by the seat belts. A few moments later, I hear an officer scream, "I'm hit. He's armed." I didn't hear him say he's armed. I just heard shots fired, shots fired, shots fired, shots fired. I'm hit. Mag dump. She dumps her magazine. He's armed. As soon as that was announced, multiple shots were fired at me while I was stuck in the back seat. Put yourself in the back seat with Marquise Jackson, or put yourself in the shoes of Marquise Jackson. Your hands are cuffed behind your back. You're in a cop car thinking, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just a matter of time before they let me out. And all of a sudden you hear a cop screaming bloody murder. And then you hear shots fired in the back. The window's getting blown out. Now there's shots fired from the front. And you're trying to, you got your seatbelt on and you're trying to duck down. You know what this, you're literally a fish in a barrel. And it reminds me of them locking that poor girl in the back of that cop car on the railroad tracks in Colorado. And then the train comes and you're watching it and there's nothing you can do. Your life is probably going in slow motion, probably flashing before your eyes. You're probably thinking about your family going, I'm never going to see them again. This is it. It's all over for me. There's no possible way out. Miraculously, this guy doesn't even get shot once. He doesn't even get injured at all. And I go over this to just try to, like, there is a human being attached to this story. And there are other human beings who thought it was okay to open fire on another human being for no freaking reason. Now, I'll give Sergeant Beth Roberts, a little bit of slack. Because she actually thought there was somebody open firing from the vehicle. I'll give her some slack. But Hernandez, he doesn't get that kind of grace. He gets no mercy. All I could do, Marquise says, was lean over and play dead to prevent getting shot in the head. I was scared to death, and I knew all I could depend on was God. I ignored everything and prayed. Windows were shattering on me the whole time as bullets continued flying across me. I was blessed not to get hit by any bullets or get hurt physically, but mentally, I'm not okay. And I said this in the video, that is settlement terminology. A lawyer told him to write this right here. It appears to me. I'm guessing, okay? Marquise, if you got a different story, and if I was Marquise, I wouldn't tell him I wouldn't say anything. He's of course seeking a settlement. He could be set for the rest of his life, and I kind of don't blame him, you know? If I got put in that situation, I can't see how any human being could make it out of this without some kind of mental trauma. And every time you see a cop, you're going to think, oh God, here we go. This is crazy business. Man, I've seen it on YouTube video after YouTube video. I've been watching all these First Amendment auditors. I saw what happened to that lady on the railroad tracks. I saw what happened to James Boyd and Johnny Wheatcroft and Daniel Shaver and Philando Castile and Eric Garner and old 72-year-old Karen Garner, but I didn't think it would ever happen to me. Now I am in the back of the cop car with the torture cuffs on. I can't go anywhere, and I'm a sitting duck. This sucks. I'm 22 years old, Marquise Jackson, and I'm about to meet my maker. Why? Because Hernandez thought he was getting shot at, and there's no freaking reason for it. So there's a human being. There are human beings attached to this story, and those human beings could be us one day. That human being we could be in those shoes. It's like, without cops, who would stick you in the back of a police car and on a train track with an oncoming train? Without cops, who would arrest you for no freaking reason and then open fire on you for no freaking reason? It's almost like, in one sense, it's unjust that you're in the back of a cop car with handcuffs on, but at least they're not going to shoot me. I'm already apprehended. They've already searched me. They've already unlawfully detained me. They've already cuffed me, and I'm locked in the back of a police car. Surely they won't open fire on me. Never say never. Never say never. I haven't been the same since, and I don't think this feeling I have will ever change. Probably not. I truly believe I'm damaged for life. As shots stopped firing, officers started telling me to put my hands up. People have been prescribed medication and have gotten disability for the rest of their lives for way less than this. This situation, as bad as it is, as grim as it is, probably set this kid up for the rest of his life. Mind you, I'm handcuffed. The officers start telling me to put my hand. The cops are telling Marquise Jackson, who has his hands cuffed behind his back, to put his hands up. Mind you, I'm handcuffed, so I can't. I reminded them that they handcuffed me, which led them to begin to tell me to sit up straight. However, when I sat up straight and looked back, I looked straight down the barrel of Officer Batisti's gun and saw several other officers with their guns aimed at me. That's not intimidating. That's not a life-changing situation. That won't give you bad dreams, will it? I left it up to God and just sat there how they wanted me to with my eyes closed. I could see that. It'd be like, okay, I am about to exit this consciousness, and I'm about to enter a new phase of whatever eternity has for me. I remember Officer Batisti because he was the officer who wrongly arrested and tasered my little brother a while back. I eventually found, so here is, maybe this is his little brother right here. I don't know. This is his Facebook profile. I don't know if that's his mom, but that may be his little brother. But this looks like the guy who was cuffed and thrown in the back of the car. Just to put a face on this. I eventually found a way to rest my cuffed hands on the shattered window area to show that I wasn't armed. A few minutes later, they swarmed the car and slammed me on the ground. I can totally see. There better be video of that, officers. I want to see that too. To search me and look for any injuries. When I got up, I was led to the ambulance. At that moment, I saw just how many officers there were, but the image I can't get out of my head is seeing how bad my mom was hurt, crying right before I got into the ambulance. Any attorney worth his salt is totally going to play this up. And really, you could just leave it as it is and read Marquise's testimony to a judge and to a jury, and he's probably going to get a pretty handsome sum. The problem is that handsome sum won't come from the pockets of the individuals who caused the problem, i.e. Hernandez and Roberts. It won't come from the pocket of the police chief or the sheriff. It will come from the pockets of the tax cattle. The insurance premiums will go up, and then taxes will go up after that. It's just a cascade of nonsense, for lack of a better word. While in the ambulance, they cut off all my clothes to continue checking for injuries. I was taken. They were probably like, man, you did. She mag dumped and he mag dumped, and one of them reloaded and started shooting again, and you didn't. You don't have injuries? I can't believe it. I was taken to Fort Walton Beach Medical Center, still handcuffed. They took me to Okaloosa County Courthouse to book me into the system. They still did that by taking pictures of fingerprints. I continued to ask every officer I saw what I was being charged with, and they all said the same thing. I don't know. We're waiting for more information. So in America, you can be arrested, you can handcuffed, you can be fingerprinted, you can be mugshotted, you can be entered into a database and thrown into a cage without charge, without trial, without due process of law, and nobody knows what's going on. I sat in a cell for hours. Eventually, an officer told me I'm free to go and that I'm not charged with anything. And then initially it says they're trying to cover this up by not giving out the body cam footage, but with multiple FOIA requests being launched, especially by some of the local news people, they did end up releasing the body cam footage that we just saw. And boy, oh boy, you could take that little sliver right there and put it in a Police Academy video and go, okay, this is Saturday Night Live worthy. This is Police Academy movie worthy. Thanks for the 559 likes. I appreciate it. The high desert biker says that's exactly what they said to me when I was arrested for no crime. Exactly. It's like, hey, we don't know. And they can always fall back on ignorance. Hey, that was somebody within the department. That's above my pay grade. I don't know. It just makes you want to pull your freaking hair out. It's all in your head, Karen says. Vic Riv Productions. Process without charge is an actual felony. Yeah. I would ask for 50 million, said the Hand History Vault. And I'm not saying this guy doesn't deserve money. It's just that the sad fact is that the money is going to come from the people who had nothing to do with the crime. And this is a crime. This was a crime. Property was damaged. More importantly, a life was threatened. That he didn't die is a freaking miracle, man. It's a miracle. 5 new members. I appreciate you guys. Hey, if you want to support this channel, become a member. Grab a shirt. We got a bunch of shirts in the store, about 110 of them. And I'm going to kind of weed through them and get rid of the ones that, people don't look like they're very interested in. And then I'm also going to be designing some new shirts in the next month. So be on the lookout for that. Swamp Lover said, hear about the guy that got falsely arrested and cuffed. Cuffs were so tight and so long he had to have his hands amputated? No, I have not heard of that. I wouldn't doubt it, but I haven't heard of that. Yeah, Flying Grandpa, exactly. Plus, they shot up a car that we paid for. I might do a dedicated call-in show tomorrow. You guys up for that? We can talk about anything you want. Anything you want. Anything? Yeah, how about anything law enforcement? Well, anything. Yeah, we can talk about anything. The enhanced privilege shuffle, says William Babbitt. Shannon Steele says, this stems back to when they used to scream, stop resisting, just so that they could justify beating the you-know-what out of you. Bingo. Bingo. Also for safety, says James Forbes, sorry. Don't they still do that, Shannon? Yeah, I think they do, Mike Freeman. Oh, you know what? I kind of want to go over this video, but I don't want to take views away from James Freeman, but I thought this was great. I did a YouTube short on it today. Anybody want to watch James Freeman just blast somebody? Me and James have been talking about doing a live stream together. I think that would be great, doing a live stream with James. There is this video. If you haven't seen it, you really should. And it's only got 68,000 views. Give me a break. You know what? I've been watching Lackluster's videos, James Freeman's videos, and some of the videos of the main, auditing channels. And I've been seeing view counts take a hit. There's some really crazy censorship shadow banning stuff going on in this platform that I ain't too happy about. Mine have taken a dump as well. I truly appreciate you guys being here. Every time you view something, like something, share something, it really helps the channel. Thank you for all your donations. Thank you to the Patreon subscribers. I don't have very many anymore because Patreon cut me off and then turned me back on for some reason. I only have, how many members do I have now? Thanks to you guys buying the members, I have it's less than 200. It's like 180 or 185 members or something like that. But there's not very many members on my channel, but I appreciate you guys faithfully watching the videos and supporting all the people out there like Tyrant Terminator Audits, James Freeman, San Joaquin Valley Transparency, people who are really out there trying to bring you what's going on, this is where the rubber meets the road stuff. You know, you have the political parasites who make the policies, but there would be no teeth on those policies if we didn't have the law enforcement class, because government is not eloquence, it's not reason, it's force, and like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master. If you didn't have that enforcement class doing the bidding of the political parasites, we would have a pretty peaceful scenario. If we didn't have the military industrial complex goons going from house to house at Katrina and taking away homeowners' firearms when they're trying to protect their property from looters, life wouldn't be so bad. If we didn't have agents who were going to come to your house because they got an alert that you didn't pay the extortion fee, it would be a pretty good scenario that we have here. See, the politicians, they can do whatever you want to, say whatever you want, scribble whatever you want to in those fancy scribbles on those fancy pieces of paper, call it a law, whatever you want to do. But if the enforcement class ignored those and said, I don't care what gun law we have, the only gun law that I need is 4 words, shall not be infringed. How about that? Like if you cared about your reputation and first of all, if you cared about your reputation, you wouldn't be a cop. But let's say you joined the police force because you had good motives and you wanted to protect your neighborhood and you wanted to support America and our rights and freedom, then what you wouldn't do is violate your oath. But it seems like that's the very first thing. They're chomping at the bit to leave the academy so they can violate their oath. Shanta Young just gifted 5 Here's the Deal watchers with a membership. Everybody, thank you. Say thanks to Shanta. I really appreciate that, Shanta. William Babbitt got one. Swamp Lover got one. Oh, wait. No, Back to Reality. Oh, I love that. Back to Reality got a membership from Shanta. So did Regdor Tenarg. O.L. Ryder and Michael Howe got a subscription, a membership, which, that lasts for a month. And if you don't refresh it, it goes away, but you're a member for a month. And I'll try to put some member incentives together. It's just that I didn't want to do that and then drop the ball and not provide my members with the thing that I told them that I would provide them with. So maybe we can have some members only live streams or something like that. That'd be great. Political power is a form of antagonizing the people, says Law Docs. Yep. Yes, indeed. Mrs. Justice is here. Tanya D says, sweet. The Second Amendment isn't about guns. It's about military-grade arms. That was the original intent. It doesn't mention military grade arms. It just says the right of the people to keep and bear arms. It wasn't specific about the arms, and it was general about the people. So a well-regulated militia. I hate the way they wrote it. The 27 words, I hate the way they wrote it. A well-regulated militia being necessary to a free state. Now, a lot of people think that's state as in geographic location. I personally think it's a free state of mind because, how can you enjoy your freedom when there's a band of marauders out there threatening your safety and your security all the time? And I'm not saying that safety and security trumps freedom. It's just that when you have freedom, it's nice to be able to enjoy the freedom that you have by, organizing some kind of a group of people who are like, hey, let's all have an agreement. We want a safe neighborhood. So let's create a safe neighborhood. It's up to all of us to keep this neighborhood safe so that we can enjoy the freedom and the property and the fruits of our labors that we have. So I understand people going, no, we need safety and security. Hey, I want to be safe and secure. I do not want to go to bed tonight thinking that I always expect it anyway, but you don't want to live in some kind of Mogadishu scenario where you've got all these warring bands of marauders. And by the way, government does not stop warring bands of marauders. They become the biggest warring band of marauders, and nobody can challenge their power. You think you got a bad world with warring bands of marauders and a bunch of gangs all over the place. Wait till you get a gang where everybody perceives that they are the authority and they have the right to abuse us and take our money and be evil to us. Yeah, I prefer dangerous freedom to peaceful slavery too, but over that, I prefer safe freedom and government-free safety and security. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery, but I prefer peaceful freedom over dangerous freedom, if that makes sense. But I'm not willing to give up my rights to get peaceful freedom, which is ridiculous. You wouldn't give up your rights to get, that's so oxymoronic. If you give up your freedom to get security, why would you do that? Why would you? It's nonsense. Well, at least I'm a little more safe, but it's always politically promised security. It never comes. Do you think the government makes you safer? I mean, the government's always saying, we're going to protect you from the terrorists. Well, who's the biggest domestic terrorist? When was the last time you were actually jeopardized, your life and your family were jeopardized by somebody in the Middle East or somebody from Saudi Arabia? But I know when the last time your life was jeopardized by the Washington, D.C. tyrants. I remember the last time you got that letter in the mail. It didn't come from somebody in the Middle East. It came from your local county saying, yeah, your taxes just went up. I do remember that. All right. So you know what, man, we've been going for 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and end it. We'll watch some of James Freeman's stuff next time. Freedom is dangerous, but not having any is more dangerous. Yep. I agree with that. South Florida into house, says Good Citizen. I prefer to be a slave. Bahaha, not, says Fishman. Those who give up essential liberty. Yeah, I love that quote by Ben Franklin. It is so true. Those who give up essential, and I add a little thing to it. Those who give up essential liberty to obtain politically promised security, which never comes, deserve neither liberty nor security. What's up, Sci-Fi Bri? Flying Grandpa. The founders didn't speak much about freedom, but rather liberty, which comes with responsibility. And I've heard people say, no, you got to use freedom over liberty because liberty is what you get when they dock the ship and they tell you can be free for a certain amount of time, but you got to be right back. But to me, liberty and freedom kind of work synonymously. Man, I'm hungry. Hey, do me a favor, guys. While there's 604 likes, I appreciate that. Can you guys do me a favor? If you haven't done so already, and I want to test this with the algorithm, but I'm pulling up my Here's the Deal channel. And on my Here's the Deal channel, if you go to videos, well, actually, you can just go down to popular videos. If you scroll through the popular videos list and you see something that you haven't seen, in my estimation, they're popular for a reason because I think they struck a chord with, people generally speaking. And all these videos, by the way, have stalled. But maybe do me a favor and go over some of these popular videos and check out some of the ones that you haven't seen. And maybe give them a watch. And then I want to see if there's any kind of a bump in views. Because I'm telling you, my views went like this. And it's on a downward trajectory. And there kind of isn't a reason for it. Actually, there's no detectable reason for it. So if you can do me a favor and do that, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for being a part of this live stream. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and for sharing. I will see you guys in the next live stream. But before you go, the most dangerous thing in the world is, as far as I'm concerned, and according to statistics, one of the most dangerous things in the world and that has ever been in the world, at least in our modern world, is that which comes out of Washington's District of Criminals. They have created more laws. They've taken away more rights. They've wasted more money. They've destroyed more lives. They've initiated more wars that have cost more lives and dropped more bombs than any group of political parasites in the history of mankind. Freedom is dangerous. They're going to try to convince you it's so dangerous that you need to give away more of your rights, but don't do it. Hold them fast. And it's more than the concept of you have rights dwelling in you. It's more like you don't have the right to infringe on somebody else's rights, but the political parasites and the law enforcement class think that they do. And that's what they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to do, to try to infringe on and violate your will and your consent. Don't let it happen. I appreciate you guys. The price of freedom is now and will always be eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. I'll leave the chat room open for a couple minutes, probably 10 minutes, and I will see you guys in the next live stream. Thank you for